Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy and ascension forecast for Sunday, February 20th to Saturday, February 26th. So let's talk about last week. We had a lot going on. We had a lot of energies coming at us. We had a lot of changes thrown in our face. And you know what? That's okay because we weren't happy in that stagnant darkness anyways. Let's cover all that has transpired, bringing us up to speed so that we have a full understanding on what it is that we can expect moving into this next chapter. First of all, we are still in the very potent, very intense 2 portal. Don't even know how many twos I said. Doesn't matter. You get the point. It's a very, very high frequency, causing a lot of insight, a lot of clarity, a lot of revolution, a lot of rebellion. There's a very, very interesting tipping point that we as a collective are reaching. And this 2 portal is definitely helping us accelerate through the different life lessons that we have to absorb and integrate in order to get to where it is that we need to be fully illuminated, fully enlightened on what it is that our next tasks, our next chores, our next path is going to be. We had Pluto trine the true node back on quote unquote love day, Valentine's Day. I'm actually super surprised to see how many people were more of like mind with the whole real energy of that whole day, especially coming off of that Super Bowl satanic energy harvesting weekend. And then we dived into quote unquote love day. I'm so glad to see how many of you all are awake. I definitely appreciate that. But on that beautiful love day, we had Pluto, the great transformer, ruling over death and destruction, pain. Why? So that we can turn it into power. Trine the true node. Many of us felt the shift. Many of us recognized the path that we now have to pursue. Many of us felt the transformation within that had to happen first in order for us to actually take action in our physical realms that, of course, has to come after the mind, body, and soul agrees on the direction, on the focus, on what is needed in our physical realms. Mercury moved into Aquarius on the same day. This opened our minds up. It definitely triggered a lot of information. Many of us felt very dizzy, very discombobulated. Many of us did not sleep because the energy was so potent. Of course, Mercury rules over the mental plane. It rules over information and communication. And we definitely had a huge blast of energy thrown at us. We have to consider all of the headline news that we have seen over the course of this week in the greater, grander global collective. There are rebellious acts going on. The people are trying to take their power back. Let me tell you, we're going to get into this in a little bit. The squeeze coming back from some countries' governments, especially in Canada, it's a very scary situation, but I actually think it's a good indication that these 3D timelines are collapsing, that these people know that they're in trouble. They are trying everything that they can in order to use the fear tactics to actually scare the crap out of us and keep our vibration down. And let me tell you, they're not going to win. We are holding the line. We are coming together as a peaceful collective. We are showing people what love and unity is all about. And this has the elitists just freaked out to the nines. The fact that a lot happened on that particular day when Mercury moved into Aquarius is a key indicator that the stars don't lie. Of course, we just had our full moon in Leo, very pivotal point in time, definitely inspiring us to stand up and do what is right, to take a stance, to definitely stand up for what it is that we believe in, what it is that we're being inspired to do. We are definitely feeling the shift of boldness, of bravery, of courage that we need to have in order to launch ourselves in this new direction. Again, very clean cut energy, making it very definitive on where it is that we needed to clearly express ourselves, get a couple of things off of our chest, and in doing so, made it very clear on where it is that we're moving away from certain elements in our lives and where it is that we are now kind of anticipating a brand new adventure, a brand new pursuit, of course, heart-led. We had Venus and Mars conjunct under that beautiful full moon, the feminine and the masculine divine energy coming together, uniting and unifying with one another, bringing action to the game, because of course Venus illuminated where it is that we had to make some changes in order to bump up our own self-confidence, our own self-worth, where it is we needed to make changes in our lives in order to align with happiness and joy, something of meaning and purpose. But of course Venus is not up to snuff yet. She's still in her post-shadow period. Mars came to the rescue and said, let me hold your hand, love. Let me get you through this next chapter. Let me take the lead. We need to be aggressive right now. We need to take a stand. We need to make a move in order to align ourselves with the direction that our heart is asking us to follow. This is also triggering soul family members coming back into this physical earth. We are uniting with our family, with our soul tribe. There are new soul contracts being initiated with Mars and Venus. There are new twin flame scenarios emerging. There are a lot of beautiful things happening in this cosmos because the stars are destined to show us where it is in our lives we need the right people put into place in order to actually support us in our awareness, in our growth, in our enlightenment. We had Jupiter sextile Uranus. Now, this is going to be a long-term aspect. It's boding very well for us. It's showing us where there's a huge advancement in our optimism, in our confidence, where our dreams are getting big, where we feel confident enough to actually pursue them, where we are opening our minds up to new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking on how it is that we're going to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we want to be. We are accepting change a lot easier, a lot more graceful. Jupiter and Uranus, of course, being older planets, their orb takes a little bit longer to kind of dissolve, which means that this energy of enlightenment, of rebellion, of awakening is going to be with us for a little bit longer. I'm not mad about it. We definitely need this, especially compounded with the other aspects going on. This is a good energy, a good vibe for us to work with. And then, of course, we have the sun moving out of Aquarius, moving into Pisces. Pisces season is now alive and well. If you haven't checked out the Astro event that I put out for Pisces season, definitely give that a listen to because I go a little bit more in depth on what Pisces season is all about, what we can expect, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's why I put those Astro forecasts out. They're all there, free content for your benefit, for your alignment. That's what this is all about. We all got to be on the same page. We all got to be at the same vibration. We all got to be doing this together in order to shift the collective into the next vibration. That's how we build New Earth. And for those of you asking, when does New Earth begin? It's already begun. We're in it. We are doing it each and every day that you choose to be better, that you recognize that where your ego is trying to keep you held back in dark ass patterns and behaviors, and you choose to do something different because you want to be free from the constructs, from the restriction, from the pain that your ego self has endured. You are creating the new earth within you. New Earth is a consciousness. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. It is a spectrum inside of our own mental plane. Of course, we are our own church. We are our own temple. We have everything that we need inside of us. And as we go through this process of ascension, which is essentially opening our minds up, opening our hearts up, purging the pain, purging the low vibrations that the ego avatar has accumulated, we are ascending. We are opening ourselves up to a new awareness, a new understanding, a new perspective on why it is that we had to go through what it is that we went through in order to find our truest, purest selves. This is all a process. I get so many inbox messages, emails, comments, like when's New Earth going to happen? When is the ascension going to happen? It's happening. It has been happening for many, many years. You're in it. If you are listening to me right now and resonate even with the slightest little bit of the information that I put out there, you're already awake. You're already ascending. Now you are opened up to the fact that there is a world beyond this construct of pain, of suffering, of 9 to 5, of materialism, right? You're already doing it. We just have to continue to stay in the moment, continue to recognize where it is that we're given a choice point, where it is that we can always do better, always be better. And as long as you are pursuing the path of enlightenment, you are awake, you are ascending, you are creating new earth. So that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of events being thrown at us. That is a lot. And guess what? We are feeling it. We are feeling it in our minds. We're feeling it in our heart space. We are feeling it in our physical bodies. So what do we got going on this week? Well, first of all, we are going to be wrapping up this 22222 portal on the 22nd, of course. And this has been a very long couple of weeks of incoming codes, of incoming insights, incoming ideas. That's why our mental plane is feeling overwhelmed. That's why our central nervous system is buzzing. That's why we've had anxiety. That's why we've been unable to sleep, or some of us not able to wake up. Depends on your own personal chart, how this particular energy is affecting you. We've had a lot of insights. We've had a lot of clarity. We've had a lot of connections be made in this very powerful portal. What also happens on the 22nd is the USA has their Pluto return. Now, I do plan on doing a whole astro forecast about this because there's too much to cover, even in my rants here in these forecasts. It is very, very essential that we all understand that what happens to the USA is a domino effect for the rest of the world. I don't want everybody to be scared. You know what? For entertainment, I started Googling because I'm seeing a lot of negative vibrations around this whole Pluto thing, a lot of fear mongering. What people don't understand is that the Pluto return started back in 2008. All that we're going to be experiencing at this direct peak energy with Pluto return taking place in the USA is a full circle, full accumulation of what began back in 2008. So yeah, we're talking about capitalism collapsing, economy collapsing, real estate collapsing, the fight between the government on their people. We're talking about the fight of information and censorship. We've already been dealing with this. Right? Now we're seeing how we're going to wrap this up and prepare ourselves for Pluto moving into Aquarius in a couple of years. That is what we should be talking about, because we already know how this Pluto return is going to go. In Capricorn energy, oh my goodness, this is a total collapse of the 3D realm that is happening worldwide, but specifically this particular quote unquote corporation, this quote unquote empire needs to crash and fall in order for the pieces, the rest of the collective, to understand how we're going to put the world back together in a better way. But again, too long for me to rant about it here. I'm definitely going to do an astro forecast all about that. So definitely look out for that notification. So we do have the Pluto return taking place on the same day as the 22222 portal. Now, other than that, this is going to be a semi-introverted, semi-reflective, semi-quiet, I hesitate to say quiet, but semi-quiet kind of week. We are building towards the last quarter moon in Sagittarius, which, you know what, is going to be a very illuminating time for us to get very in alignment with our belief system, with what it is that we want to adventure into from here. We're going to see a lot more clarity take place. We're going to see bigger, broader horizons and the opportunities that the future holds present themselves here in the physical realm. So it is going to be a good energy to work with. But other than that, let me tell you, taking a look at this week's forecast, we have a lot of moon days. And we know what happens when we have a lot of moon days. It's a lot of inner emotional realizations. And now that we're in Pisces season and we're in a water season and it is all about emotional and spiritual transformation, you best believe that we're going to have some high highs and you best believe we're going to have some low lows. And guess what? We might have multiple of those back to back many times within the run of the day. We're in an accelerated time of processing right now, which isn't a bad thing because who wants to stay in a funk for longer than, 3 seconds at this point? But there's a lot of revelations coming in. Of course, Pisces season illuminates for us our spiritual realm. That's why we're introverted. That's why we're reflected. This is where the artists come alive, where new music gets inspired, where new art projects become inspired, where the poets and the writers, because we're inside of ourselves, we're looking for answers and within ourselves. This isn't a time to project outward. This is a time to get our inner realms right. And the moon days that we're about to have are going to help us fine tune the emotions that we're leaving behind, because of course Pisces season is all about endings just as much as it is about the preparation for the brand new beginning coming with Aries season when the new astrological calendar drops. But the moon days help us fine tune our inner realms. And let me tell you, most of the days this week have 9 aspects, which is a very interesting number when you contemplate the fact that 9 is the ending of a cycle, is the ending of a chapter, is release, is purge. And that's what we've been doing, people. And that's what we're going to continue to do in Pisces season. So this is going to be a very interesting time for us to live through. Hasn't every week just been super freaking interesting? I think that it's very entertaining, to be honest with you. I feel bad for the people that are just entering the chat. And I don't mean the literal chat, although thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the chat. But the awakening, right? There's been another push, another huge group that people have awakened. And many of these people, many of these groups have been awakened because, of course, the huge rebellion, revolt, precursor to the revolution that's taking place around the world fighting for our freedoms have woken some sleepers. I feel bad for them. Why? Because it's a confusing ass time to wake up, as if a spiritual awakening wasn't confusing enough. This is a time to actually wake up. I would be scared to death. I'm so glad I got like a decade plus underneath my belt to prepare myself for this time, because I would not want to be just wakening up to the whole construct of the earth and the delusions that we've been under and having to unlearn everything that we've been taught in order to truly recognize where it is that we've been disillusioned and fooled. Again, very, very confusing time. I want to thank the new awakened people for being here. Many of you have reached out over this past week, has said, I really have no clue what you're talking about, but something tells me that it feels good, it feels right, and I want to learn more and I want to understand. But many people are under the assumption that, that they're not awake. And like I said, if you're on this channel and you resonate even a fraction with anything that I have to say, chances are you're awake. If you're confused as hell, if you're isolated, if you're losing your life, your friends, your job, if everything feels foreign to you, if you feel like you're a lost soul, like you're not supposed to be here, congratulations. You have spiritually awoken. Now, what do you do about it? Well, you get real. What are you getting real with? Well, first, recognizing all of confusion within you. Confusion is necessary. We need confusion in order to lead us to clarity. And you know what? Keep listening. I put out daily forecasts in order to validate for you that what it is that's going on in your realm, inside of you and outside of you, is aligned with the cosmos. That's what my whole daily forecast, ploy is to remind you that you're perfectly aligned, you're exactly where it is that you need to be, and that this painful, confusing state that you're in is exactly what you've been destined to experience in order to position yourself to fully embody your light. Okay, it's all a process. We're doing it. We're doing it together. And of course, these Ascension forecasts that I put out every week, this is for the community to come together so that we can talk about the energy. We can talk about the effects that it's having on our physical bodies, on our physical realms, that we can unify, that we can connect with one another, we can support one another, and we can just, validate that we're not alone. That's my main message, is that we're not alone. So regardless of where it is that you're at in your healing journey, in your ascension process, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for showing up, not only for me, but for yourself. I want to thank you for the comments, for the love, for the like, for the shares. And I want to thank you for helping me to reach that 3K mark. Thank you so much. Each and every single one of you have contributed to this beautiful community that we're building here. And this 3K was very important to me because the more people that we can connect with, that we can get this message out with, that we can get on the same page, the faster we can shift this collective into new earth. So I want to thank you for that. I do want to cover a couple of personal things just very briefly in this little homework section before we jump into the Ascension Symptoms. I like to take the time to give you guys a little bit of love because you all spend so much time giving me the love and support. I want to give it back. So I want to thank you for that. A special shout out I got to do a couple of special shout outs this week, although every single one of you is hella important to me. I want to give a shout out to Kathy from Tennessee, who sent some huge love my way. I'm not going to go into details. You know who you are. I want to thank you for your kindness, for your generosity. So freaking appreciated. I also want to thank a huge thank you. Honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now connecting with all of you if it wasn't for this particular individual. Shout out to Trap at Trap House Kitchen. I want to thank each and every single one of you who came over from his community to this community, who liked, who subscribed, who stayed. Me and Trap were definitely cut from the same cloth. We got a different tactic, different point of view coming at two different communities, and somehow we just make it work. The love is there. The support that there, the knowledge is there. That's what we're all about. We're all about the knowledge. Okay. Many of you sent a huge shout out to me, love and support, especially from last week's forecast about my dentist situation. First of all, thank you for that. Second of all, can't believe how many of us are having dental issues at this time. Again, another huge validation that the stars do not lie. Now, I can't believe how many people are actually interested. Like, honestly, every single time you guys show interest in my personal life, I'm like, damn, these people really do care about my life. Like, thank you for that. It's just weird for me. I'm not used to sharing these types of situations. But so many of you have asked about my dental situation that I feel the need to just briefly explain the fact that I'm still in it. Yep, I was unable to get the help that I needed. I have a very serious situation going on in my body, mostly due to the autoimmune issues that I have. It complicates everything. They weren't able to help me out right there. I'm actually on the list for an emergency specialist appointment. I'm going to have a couple of months of some serious pain and dysfunction in my mouth. I'm going to have to definitely pace myself with how many appointments I'm able to take on and how many forecasts I'm able to keep up with, because there's likely going to be a lot of days that I'm not going to be able to talk so well. It's a very scary thing, but I'm dealing with my trauma head on. That's how we do it. That's what these warriors within us got to do. But I want to thank you for the love and support that you all showed me, for the concern that you all showed me. It's going to be a long path. I'm definitely going to keep you all updated, especially when I start talking funny. But I have some very serious dental procedures, some surgeries that I'm going to have to do. And right now we don't even know the path in which I'm going to have to take until I can get that specialist appointment. So I just wanted to fill you all in, because honestly, I had way more people interested in my dental situation than I thought could ever be interested. And I thought it would be easier to address the comings and goings in these forecasts so that I can just knock that out of the park. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the algorithm. So a couple of years ago, I got a download from my guides that said that they were coming for the astrologers. They were coming for the tarot readers. They were coming for the psychics. Why? Because we know what's up. Why? Because we're raising the freaking vibration of this collective at rates that the elitists did not plan for. Okay? Every single time that they thought they were going to get away with keeping the fear-mongering vibration alive and well in the collective, we've come together. We've busted that timeline right out. We've collapsed that. And we're doing such an amazing job at keeping the vibration, the spirits high, even though we're going through a very, very scary time to be alive. We are doing it. We are winning this war. May I remind you, we're in a very deep spiritual war. It has always been going on. But because we are in this very pivotal time where we are shifting into new earth, they literally thought that they could hold us down. And the psychics and the astrologers and the tarot readers and all the light workers out there are now being full on censored and attacked. Okay. Not sure if you guys are on TikTok. I actually don't have a professional account on TikTok. I just like to go on there and mindlessly scroll and see what's up. Because as you know, Facebook is absolute garbage. I absolutely hate Facebook. You're going to see me less and less on there. Instagram, meh, it's still okay. I still reach a lot more people. I'm not as censored on Instagram as I am on Facebook, although I actually expect that to come to a close. I'm very much mindful about what I talk about here on YouTube, because YouTube is putting the squeeze down, putting the squish down. Again, seeing it in my numbers, it's not me being crazy. It is definitely a thing. And there are more important people talking about it on TikTok. And I didn't realize that there were actually notices sent out by some of these platforms to say that they were no longer supporting hashtag horoscope, hashtag psychic, hashtag astrology, and anybody with those specific keywords in their accounts are being censored. Now, are we going to let these people keep us down? No. What are we going to do about it? Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to keep talking. That's for sure. I'm going to probably start including hashtag the energy boutique in every single freaking thing that I do so that people can find me. But now we're going to have to get creative. We're going to have to get crafty on substituting some of the general, keywords, tag words that we've been using. We're going to have to get crafty on what it is that we're going to supplement those words with. So if you got any suggestions, I want you to drop it in the comments because like I said, we're in a creative time with Pisces season. We're thinking outside of the box because of all this Aryan energy that we got going on. We understand that the censorship is alive and well because they do not want us prepared for the events to come. They do not want us hopeful. They do not want us confident. They do not want us optimistic. They do not want us in a high vibration. Okay. And that's why I said earlier, like to see the squeeze that some of these countries are putting on these peaceful protesters, Canada most specifically, because I'm in it. I'm here. I can feel the vibration. And let me tell you, I'm shocked that Canadians woke up in the way that they did. And I'm shocked that we've been able to actually keep it peaceful. And I'm not shocked at the kind of corruption that the RCMP, that the police, that the government is putting down on us right now. I'm not shocked. But let me just say, we have to kind of look at these squeeze factors as a positive. They are scared shitless. We have a vibration and a frequency of love and unity happening at such a potent energy that we are literally watching these 3D timelines collapse. That should be a beautiful thing, but it also does make us a little bit uncertain, a little bit scared on what it is that we could be walking into in the future. And that's why they are shutting the psychics, the astrologers, the tarot readers, the light workers, the star seeds down on social media. So again, I want to thank you for being here. Your likes, your shares, your comments, they all help. They all push that information to whoever needs to see it, whoever needs to vibrate with it. We need them on our side. We need them on our team. So I want to thank you for the algorithm help, for the boost. We got to keep it going. So the last thing that I want to talk about before I go on to my Ascension symptom rant for this week is that I am currently celebrating, as of right now, the 18th of February, my 13th year death anniversary. And although I've been very hesitant to talk about the whole situation that actually created this particular individual that comes at you daily and weekly and monthly with all of this weird ass information, I feel like I'm going to bust out of my comfort zone. I think it's time. I think it's time to talk about it. I think it's time to be a little bit more transparent. Lord knows I have waved my freak flag in front of you people for far long enough. You have always created the space. You have always shown me love and respect and support for my spiritual experiences. Y'all have met me. Y'all have held space and met me exactly where it is that I needed to be met. And because of that, I am putting out my own little episode of my spiritual awakening, my death anniversary. And hopefully you all can check that out. I am very nervous about it because, again, I am a very private person. I think that even my original OGs that have been with me for over a decade now, following my information, my forecasts, my rants, I don't even know that my original OGs actually know the full story of what went down 13 years ago. So I'm going to put it all out there. And I just want to thank you ahead of time for holding that space and showing me love and showing me support, because I know that this is going to be a humdinger. This is going to bring a whole different batch of people out, because I'm going to be talking about some stuff that I have been very tight-lipped about for over a decade now. So hopefully I'm doing the right thing. Hopefully my transparency, my rawness, my vulnerability will continue to connect with you guys, to bring in the right people, to validate for you that you're not alone, that you're not crazy, and that we're all going through this together. So I want to thank you for being with me here on my death anniversary. It has been a shit show of a time, a very wild ride. But you know what? Had I known 13 years ago, the love and support, the community that I was going to be exposed to and connect with here 13 years later, it would have made a whole hell of a lot of difference in my life. And I am thankful and grateful for every freaking single one of you that are here with me today and that will continue to be with me in moving forward, because I 100% understood the mission from day one, but I had no idea of the amount of beautiful people that I was going to connect with on the way. So thank you for being with me each and every single day, each and every week that we do these Ascension Forecasts, but a special thank you for being with me here today on my death anniversary. So let's jump into some Ascension symptoms. Again, reminder, Ascension symptoms are the physical symptoms that our physical bodies feel due to the influx of energy coming in from the space weather, from the cosmos, from the universe, from the portals. We are on a path of enlightenment, on a path of healing. The more information, the more awareness that we have in our soul's body, in our energetic body, in our physical body, the more advancement, more evolvement we get to do in the spiritual realm and here in the physical realm. So the Ascension symptoms that we talk about each and every week, of course, there are some very basic generic ones like the Ascension flu, the achiness, the cold, the fevers that come and go. It feels like we're sick and then we're only kind of down for 2 days and then we're good again. Buzzing in the ears, seeing certain things, pressure in the head. We're all over the place, but those are some very basic and generic type of Ascension symptoms. Again, what I like to cover in these particular forecasts are the weird ones, are the new ones. Again, it's super helpful to go back to last week, even the week before's Ascension symptom forecast, because different ones pop up. Some of us don't, release them as fast as other people. Some of us don't work through them, process them as quickly as we would like. And of course, we're all at a different point in our journey. We are all at a different density in our physical bodies. We are all at a different awareness and level of enlightenment in our spiritual selves. We're all at different parts of the same ride, right? I like to think of it like a roller coaster. Some people are sitting up front, some people are at the back, some are scattered in the middle. We're all going to go through the humps and the bumps and the hanging upside down and the tunnels, but we all kind of get there at different places. And many of us experience those different bumps in the road, bumps in the roller coaster in different ways. Some people like feeling like they're dropping to their death from the peak of the roller coaster, throwing their hands up and screaming like they just don't care. And other people just want to cry and get off the ride, okay? So no judgment. We're all in this. The ride is still going on. We're all together on this ride. We're just all experiencing it at different rates, at different levels, at different frequencies. So this week, first of all, we got to talk about the fact that Pisces season is the end of the astrological wheel. It is a water energy. It affects our spirit, our soul the most. It is an undoing of our ego. It is us moving away from the ego, further to our intuition, to our soul self. It is when we kind of abandon this physical realm to live in la la land, to kind of grasp new ideas, new creative ideas, new information from the higher realms. So Pisces season rules over dreams, and Lord knows our dream state has been absolutely whack. It is going to get even wackier in Pisces season. Now, there's a lot of disturbing night terrors that tend to pop up in Pisces season because that's our unconscious self trying to move through some of the painful, traumatic experiences that we've accumulated in this lifetime and in past lifetimes that we just are not capable of dealing with in our awake, conscious realm. So therefore, our unconscious selves brings all of that material to us in a dream state, and many of us can have some very traumatic dream night terrors because of it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're all going to have bad dreams, because the dreams right now are very cryptic. The veil is very, very, very thin, almost non-existent at this point, and in between realms. And so we're being able to access old memories, old timelines, old soul contracts much easier. And our dreams are the biggest clues that we can use in order to understand not only what's going on inside of us unconsciously, but what's going on in our physical realms, in our conscious realms, due to the patterns, the hints, the clues that we're getting in our dream state. Pisces season does jack up our psychic abilities. And yep, you're psychic. We're all psychic. We have been dumbed down. Our pineal gland has been calcified to the nines from the poison in our food, in our water, in our toothpaste. That fluoride has got to go. There is a greater, grander plan to the elitists' whole grand scheme of things, which is to dumb us down, disconnect us from our power, disconnect us from our knowledge. We are all psychic. We are all psychic as children. That's why children have a huge, huge ability to talk about past lives. And you think imaginary friends are not really visible to them? You're joking. They see realms, they see frequencies, they see a different spectrum of light until society conditions them to think that you can't talk about imaginary friends. You're going to be crazy, right? You don't see those things flashing. You're just making stuff up. That's how our inner child gets squashed, gets conditioned down to numb, to conform to the idealistic conditions that society wants us to live under. Many of us in our teens go through a self-sabotage phase. It's where we experiment with drugs and alcohol and inflicting pain on ourselves. Why? Because we're these empathic beings that used to channel the energy outward. We realize that we're not understood. We feel the weight of the world on our shoulders because we know that we don't belong here and nobody wants to listen to us and everybody dismisses us, and therefore we want to numb. That's what it's all about. Pisces season, very, very numbing. You know, we want to watch out for addiction style behaviors in Pisces season. If you're, and I want to say this very nicely, but if you're still consuming alcohol, you might want to give your head a shake. First of all, alcohol is poison, okay? They call it spirits for a reason, because you dumb yourself down, you debilitate yourself so that I would say higher force energies, but that would actually suggest that it would be of a higher vibration. You open yourselves up for a spiritual takeover. That's why many people, when they drink, become somebody else, because you dumb your power down enough for a lower vibrational frequency to take over. Alcohol should not be in your body. It is not something that should ever be in your body, okay? If you're still drinking, I would definitely reconsider your choices there. You want to keep your temple, your body, as clean as possible. You want to keep it in a realm that can connect to your higher self, and you definitely can't be doing that when you're putting poison into your body. So we want to watch out for addicting substances, addicting behaviors in Pisces season, because our abilities are becoming stronger. And sometimes that can feel overwhelming. And because Piscean energy is the escape artist of the zodiac, we tend to want to escape, period. Many of us would prefer to crawl into bed and not come out until springtime hits, until Aries season takes over, and until we actually feel like we have an ounce of energy, an ounce of caring, an ounce of life left in us. Many of us do not at this particular point in time, because we are so hypersensitive, so overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions, and so confused, bearing the weight, the darkness of the unconscious collective, at the same time trying to elevate ourselves to the higher vibration and frequency of our soul's path. It can get very confusing, and that's why the ego self prefers to try and numb this experience. Again, we do not want to do that. With these abilities, though, because yet again, you're psychic, you're going to see that you're seeing things. Yes, we've been talking about auras. We've been talking about, seeing glimpses of shadows out of the corner of our eye. We've been talking about the threads of the matrix being visible now. We've been talking about seeing shiny things. We've been talking about seeing the interdimensional bleed. Well, that is only going to increase. Your hearing is going to change. Your hearing is going to become a little bit more higher in tune with the vibrations and frequencies of the other realms. I want you to pay attention for buzzing, beeping, and drumming. Okay. The drumming is a very important sign that you are elevating to the next level, because that's our ancestors trying to give us a sign and symbol through the vibration and frequency of the bass aspect of a drum to basically recognize that they're with us, that we are supported, that we are not alone. The drumming does awaken a certain part of us. I invite you to even take a little listen to a drumming circle and tell me that you're not moved on a level in which you cannot put into words. This is what's going to be happening to our physical senses while moving through Pisces season. So we're going to have a lot of feelings, right? We're overwhelmed. We're very empathic. We're picking up on other people's energies, subtle energies of our environments. We don't know where it is that we end. We don't know where other people begin. That's okay. Pisces season is about learning boundaries. When we level up in our spirit, in our soul, in our abilities, in our self-worth, we get tested by the universe to see where it is that we need to enforce stronger boundaries. Because we're doing shadow work, because we're doing releasing and ending and collapsing of the old, we are definitely going to feel the darkness 1 minute and then be totally elated, joyful, optimist, filled with certainty from higher realms in just the next moment. This, again, is going to be a very dramatic ebb and flow of extremes. One thing we want to pay attention to in our physical forms is our feet. Many of us are going to be having cold feet. Why? Well, Pisces rules the feet, first of all. And when your feet are in the depths of the cold, dark ocean for too long, you best believe that they're going to get cold. But we have to understand that we are at the ending of a cycle. We know that we're going to have to make a major move. We know that we're taking action. We know that we're preparing ourselves for a huge step forward. But many of us are getting cold feet. We are going to notice that we have a hard time walking. Our bodies feel heavy. We are waterlogged. We are in Pisces season. This is a water sign. Our feet are going to feel like we have sea legs, like they are hard to move, like we are trying to run underwater. But again, this is absolutely necessary because our bodies, our physical bodies, should be low and slow. They should be at a resting state. Our inner realms come alive during Pisces season, not our physical realms, not our physical bodies. So, if you are on the side of sleep where you are sleeping well, it's likely that you're in a sleep coma. It's hard to wake up. You don't want to wake up. You don't want to deal with reality. Again, Pisces season is the escape artist of the zodiac. Many of us are going to be very disassociated, very disillusioned with our current circumstances. We're not going to want to engage in too much social activity. This is a very introverted time. It's a time for us to get in touch with ourselves, to really stand in our own power. There's a lot processing going on in our emotional state. If you are somebody on the state of insomnia, well, you're going to have some very mystical experiences while you are trying to sleep and cannot sleep. I do suspect that those of us that have been awake for days upon days will have a little bit more relief after the 22nd. Again, we've been in this very high, intense electrical portal that isn't helping our sleep state any. Our central nervous systems are just buzzing. We are renovating our sensory input and output portals, if you will. And because of this, many of us have not been able to get the physical sleep that we need to get. Again, I invite you, tap into holistic remedies, get some melatonin in there, use valerian tincture. You do have the ability to use plant-based products in order to naturally align the physical, biological, chemical body that we are living in. We are able to influence that with holistic remedies, okay? Nobody should be awake for 3-4 days at a time. That's when psychosis sits in, okay? You need sleep in order to heal your physical body. We are operating on different levels. What the energetic body needs, the physical body does not want. What the physical body needs, the energetic body does not want. We have to come to a compromise. So through this process, we are going to go through hopelessness to hopefulness. We are going to go from feeling broken to feeling totally healed. We are going to go from being absolutely terrified to absolutely at peace and inspired. Again, Pisces season, the two fish, they chase each other. They tried to eat each other's tail. They tried to take each other out. The victimhood, right? This is the undoing. This is what we do to ourselves. But we have enough wisdom. We have enough knowledge within us right now to understand the process. And that's why it's so imperative that we keep our heads open, our hearts open, that we're constantly acting as the observer, that we're recognizing when the darker force energies are trying to keep our ego in power. And of course, acting as the observer, we can see the greater, grander plan take place, and then we can choose to do better. That's what this is all about. Our heads will continue to be spinning though. Mercury is in Aquarius, guys. This is like having 52 freaking tabs open on your computer. There's music coming from somewheres. There's flashing coming from somewheres. A window is telling you just, hit the $1 million cycle. You can't close that window out. Every single time you close that window, 4 more open up and pop up. There's a lot going on in our mental planes. So our heads are spinning. Yes, we're going to feel overwhelmed. That's okay. Feeling overwhelmed, feeling crazy, feeling chaotic is part of the process. It provides us an opportunity to see where clarity is just going to zap into our brains, and we're going to be like, oh my goodness, damn, here it is. Oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. And then we move on. This is a process. Confusion is part of the process. Please stop fighting the confusion. Please stop thinking that you're doing something wrong. Please stop thinking that you're effing something up, that you're missing out on something that couldn't be further from the truth. You cannot F up anything that is meant for you. Remember that. You're exactly where it is that you need to be. Remember that. You are exactly in the part of this journey and of this process that your soul needs to be at in order to reach your highest potential. Remember that. But the pressure can be a little bit much at times. Again, I'm going to remind you to veil your head if the energy becomes too strong. Put a hat on, put a toque on, put a hood on. Black is the color you want to aim for because that grounds us out and protects us and slows down the energy codes. You want to add pressure to the crown from the outside if the pressure on the inside becomes too much. Yes, we're going to continue to be spacey. Yes, there's a lot of congestion there. A lot of the congestion coming in from our crown is having an effect on our sinuses, which of course is the third eye. Many of us awakening to a different level of awareness. We're going to have sinus issues. There's a lot of pressure, clicking, popping, buzzing in the ear, still pressurized in the jaw, in the head, in the mouth, in the teeth. Definitely not as bad as last week, fingers crossed. Many of us had extreme teeth pain, toothache, gum pain last week that are hopefully resolving. Even in my dental situation, things are slightly better. The infection is under control. I do have other situations going on in my mouth, but compared to last week, totally different ball game. So I'm grateful for that. Now this week we got some solar plexus activations going on. So if you don't know what your solar plexus is, I want you to feel right underneath your rib cage in the middle, right under there. You can push in and actually feel, your organs there. That's where your gallbladder is. Because of the gallbladder, we're definitely going to have some digestive issues come up when the solar plexus gets activated. Now, why is the solar plexus being activated? Well, because now we're taking a new direction. We have a new willpower, especially from that full moon in Leo. We are damn well and determined to take a new direction, to get up and fight. We definitely know where major changes are needing to take place. The spiritual beliefs, the thoughts, the emotions, the energies coming in, we are taking one step forward in what it is that we believe and what it is that we want to do and what it is that we want to focus on. That is solar plexus activation. So digestion is likely going to be a little bit of a topic. We have to understand that Pisces energy sits across from is polar opposites to Virgo energy. So if the sun is illuminating all of the issues that Pisces energy wants us to focus on, we have to understand that the Virgo energy in all of our charts is being darkened, right? And what sits in the darkness of Virgo? Digestive issues. It's our worry wart energy. And of course, when we worry and our nerves are shot, it has a huge impact on our digestion. Not to mention that being in a water season tends to make us a little bit nauseous anyways, because we go from calm waters to emotionally choppy waters and everything in between. We can feel nauseous. We can feel seasick. Our sea legs and our cold feet are contributing to that overall sea experience. But the digestive issues, we're having a lot of gas, a lot of piercing gas pains, a lot of bubbles in our guts. We can go from pure blockages and pure constipation to having the floodgates open and not being able to stray away from a bathroom for far long. That just comes part and parcel. Hopefully we can strike a nice balance so that we're not, just totally exasperated by our digestive issues. But that all comes down to what it is that you're putting in your body too. Many of us want to numb by using food, and many of us want to use processed food with no life force energy in it. If you're still putting crap, processed food, high sugar food, high carbs in your body, you might want to rethink what it is that your body wants and what it is that your energetic body needs. Because if you're eating crap that is slowing down your nervous system, you're going to pay the price for that. Now, we are going to feel bloated, okay? There's a lot of bloating going on. I want to think of water weight, right? We're in a water season now. So there's a lot of puffiness in our face, in our fingers, in our guts. We just feel a little bit squishy. We feel a little bit bloated, a little bit like we're retaining too much water, too much fluid. Now, I don't want that to deter you from bringing in the hydration in which you need, because we do need to keep the hydration to us. Our thirst is going to peak. Yes, Mercury is in Aquarius, so we have a high thirst of knowledge, but that high thirst of knowledge affects our throat chakra that just got activated for speaking our brand new truth, for speaking our brand new emotions and perspectives for all to be heard. You should have been roaring under that full moon in Leo. If you haven't yet, you should release that energy. And that thirst is coming in by the need of us to force hydration in our bodies, even though we feel like we're taking on too much water weight. Now, the need to scream is going to be pretty freaking loud. I talk about this as an analogy. I call this library syndrome. The minute that I enter into a library and I know that I'm supposed to be quiet is the minute that I want to scream on the top of my lungs. I don't know why. Maybe it's the rebellion in me. I can't tell you. But it's just like every single time, like even when you're in a doctor's office and everybody's like, whispering under their breath and don't make noise and blah, blah, blah. I want to scream. Okay. And so we've been through a lot. And the inner realm changes that we're going through right now. We might not be able to truly convey or express ourselves fully and clearly outside of our bodies, but we can definitely make some noise. And because Pisces season is very connected to the arts, to music, to, creativity, all this kind of stuff, it's good to get the energy out. It's good to get it moving. You might feel the need to scream. And a lot of that comes from the heart chakra, from the lung expansion that is needed. Now, we might be finding ourselves needing to deep breathe, right? Think of yourself in the middle of the ocean, treading water. You're getting tired. You have to steady your breath in order to stay afloat. This is what Pisces season is all about, is finding our balance, finding our inner power, regulating our physical body, our spiritual body, our emotional and mental body. Now, this might put a lot of us in a state of panic because many of us are not good breathers. Many of us are short, shallow breathers. That does not bring enough oxygen in, does not expand our heart chakra, does not expand our lung space. Pisces energy does affect the lungs as well. We don't want to bring water into our lungs, choking on our breath, choking on the water in which we're treading, choking on our emotions. We want to regulate ourselves to stay stable, to stay balanced. And we can do that by deep breaths, bringing it in, pushing it out. We want rhythm. We want a process here. We want to stay calm. We want to stay regulated, especially when shit hits the fan. And you can expect that shit will hit the fan. Now, we will go from restlessness and anxiety. Why? Because there's a lot going on inside of us that we would rather not have going on. We are wanting to exert ourselves in our physical realm. Not quite time for that. This is an inner realm journey. And so the restlessness, the anxiety can get to us. And of course, that has a huge impact on our breath work. It's all connected, guys. We got to stay calm. We got to stay stable. Just when we lose ourselves in those choppy ass waters. We have to learn that if we're frantic, if we start swimming our little butts off to a destination that we cannot see, we're not ever going to make it. We have to learn, especially in those, more turbulent times, that we got to float. We got to stay regular. We got to stay patient. We got to do the deep breaths. We have to float on our back. We have to tread water so that we're not exhausting ourselves and that we still have a chance for us to actually get to dry land. Dry land is coming, people. It's coming with Aries season, but we got one season left before Aries season takes place. And that, my friends, is Pisces season. So we do have a lot of physical changes going on this week, but most of the changes are kind of being connected to the inner changes that are going on to our heart space, especially. This is a very emotional time. This is a very hypersensitive time. This is a very magical and mystical time. This is a time for dreaming, for creativity. We've been illuminated to an idea, to a dream, to a goal that we actually want to manifest. That was Aquarian energy's job, is to spark a new inspiration, a new idea in our mental plane. Now we get to dream about it. We get to concoct it. We get to storyline it. We get to add all the magic to it. We get to align with our higher self in order for us to realize where our greatest power is and prepare ourselves to launch in a brand new chapter, in a brand new timeline, where we get to initiate a brand new energy and a brand new cycle when Aries season hits. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for being here, so much for showing up for yourself. That's what this is all about. Yes, I thank you for the likes, the comments, the shares. Yes, I love being able to interact with you. I love the connection that we're building here. But I'm more grateful that you see the investment within yourself. You're doing the work. The work is not easy, okay? It's ugly, it's dark, it's painful. Nobody wants to do this, but you keep showing up. And that is my happiest and proudest moment, to see the same names doing the work, the same names showing up in the chat, the same names supporting one another. This is a beautiful thing. I cannot emphasize enough, A, how happy I am to be a part of this community, B, how grateful I am for each and every single one of you, and C, how freaking proud I am of every single one of us that show up here in order to evolve and in order to reach our highest self. I want to thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a beautiful night, a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you soon.